What's up, Reefer Revolutionaries? It's 420 in California. This is Reefer Revolution Live.
But I think in terms of marijuana, and legalization, I think that should be a state issue, state by state. I think it's up to the states, yeah. I'm a states person. I think it should be up to the states, absolutely.
Lots of states
I know
today.
people that are very, very sick, and for whatever reason, the marijuana really helps them.
Good people don't smoke marijuana.
Well, Reefer Revolutionaries, the good people in Tennessee have some representatives that are talking about medical marijuana. And boy, it's mind-blowing. And the folks up on Capitol Hill had a historic little conference, a little hearing, a little get-together, a little cannabis conversation about that cash floating around in these legal states. We need to do something about that. What did they talk about? Well, we're going to talk about that and lots of other things. This is Reefer Revolution Live. People jumping in the chat. Timbuktu, JCC 707, Jacob Downey. So many good
I'm all
people.
in. This is the time to go all in on cannabis.
Good people don't smoke marijuana.
Except for the good people over at We TV, the Cannabis Media Network. What's up, Reefer Revolutionaries? It is indeed 420 in California. This is Reefer Revolution Live. I'm Dave Conan, the show where we spark up, talk about, indeed, spark up, talk about marijuana in the mainstream media, the politics of pot and cannabis cures. You know her, you love her. You know when I say we, that coughing in the background is Coach Chela.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
We're working on it, that's for sure.
Hi. Hope everybody's nice and high out there.
Cosmic Led is back in the house after a little while. Good to see you from Arizona. Happy guys in there. Curious Cannabis Connoisseur, a new regular on the show. Welcome. Timbuktu's in there. We got Nikki Smith. Alex is in there. We got, who else? Early
Timbuktu.
on. MDN Niles jumping in early. Laura P. in the house.
Pat's Fan 420. I wonder if you stuck around.
If a new viewer might be Pat's Fan 420, was not quite sure what was going on in our little musical green room there. It's, of course, what that is. Let me adjust my camera a little bit here. All right, folks. Welcome, everybody. This is indeed Reefer Revolution Live. We do this every Sunday at 420, where we spark up, talk about all those things. This is originating from the great state of California. This is a medical and recreational cannabis show. We do indulge and we do talk about the marvelous miracle plant, as some may call it, especially in our segment today about Tennessee, which just is like blew my mind. Senator Bolin from Tennessee did a whole hour call-in show on a local news station about cannabis medical cannabis in her state and a law that she's trying to get through, along with some other legislators, and we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about, a little historic hearing happened up on the Hill this week, Chela.
That was a big deal, man.
You know it was a big deal? You started the show on Tuesday during that live hearing that we brought everybody 4 hours or so.
I clicked the buttons.
It seemed like one of our shows, that hearing. It was long.
It was almost like one of our shows. Hey, Small Tubes, shout out from Virginia.
Hey, Small Tubes in the house.
All right.
Cool. Welcome, brother. Nice to see other folks.
Hi, Exhaust 11.
Other folks jumping in from other Cannabis SATIVA. Other folks jumping in from other cannabis shows and growers and trimmers all jumping in. Good to see you all. Welcome to the show. Subscribe, get notifications for when we do go live, because not only do we do this show every Sunday on YouTube, Periscope, DLive, Twitch, We TV, the Cannabis Media Network, but we also go live at various times when there are special things that are happening in the cannabis world, such as that hearing. You can listen and watch the entire hearing here on the channel at YouTube if you want to go back and watch it with our commentary and interjections, what you will. But most of it is the full hearing. And also we got some clips we're going to play in the afterburn that stuck out with us from the hearing, including AOC.
Great.
Perlmutter, who's been trying to do this for 20 years.
That was great, too.
Specifically for 6 years with this bill. So pretty cool to see. This was, I say historic because this really was supposedly the only cannabis specific hearing ever to happen on the Hill. So I'm still looking for another one, and I haven't been able to find it. So not only have they not been able to have discussions or have any of these hearings brought up in any committees, or these bills brought up in any committees, there really hasn't been a cannabis specific hearing in Congress, maybe ever. But at least 20 years, these guys have been trying to get some movement up there, and to no avail. Everybody that's been up there has not really taken it seriously. Are they taking it seriously now? We'll see. We'll see. We're going to get into it a little bit. Welcome, everybody. This is, of course, Reefer Revolution Live. We thank you for joining us. Subscribe, get notifications. We do also a little thing called a Cannabis Chronicle, which we put out every, what is that? Well, now we're doing it on Sunday mornings. Sunday mornings.
It just changed.
Because some news comes in late on Saturday that, and still yet, I added news this morning.
And on Sunday morning, the news is constantly coming. Don't feel bad.
It is let me tell you, the cannabis news is
constantly evolving,
and
right?
coming in fast and furious. I mean,
Yeah.
there's breaking news this morning that I can talk about. As I relight a little moist, we're having a little slurricane. This is Slurricane.
Yes.
Strain is Slurricane. What are you guys smoking? Where are you smoking? Slurricane joints. We've got the Air Riser EQ in the hookah mode because we need new bags. Our bags are, you need new ones eventually, and we need new bags. But we've got it in hookah mode with the tube, and that's kind of fun. And we've got our J's, we got some bowls, we got some mints, we got some drops. We're well medicated for our journey, our jaunt into this week's cannabis news.
Indeed.
So we've really pretty much figured out that the first hour of our show is basically us discussing the news of the week that we find in the Cannabis Chronicle. You can get the breaking news. I do most of my tweeting over on Twitter. So follow me at DC420LA and at Reefer Rev Show, the two addresses over there on Twitter, as well as on Instagram, where Chela is the queen of Instagram.
Hardly.
Are trying to be the queen over there at Reefer Rev Show.
I'm trying to figure it out.
And at Al's Notes, because we're doing lots of things, lots of great news, great things happening. But I tweet out cannabis news as it happens over there at DC420LA on Twitter. And then I put it all together for you guys into a nice little newsletter if you want to sign up for that, or you can just jump in over there on Sundays and catch the new news of the week at DC420LA.com, a Cannabis Chronicle. And this week, the two biggest stories, of course, that we found, this one actually got out of order. Sorry. Let's try that again. The two biggest stories that we found, Congress, Leafly, a changed House finally looks at cannabis banking. All the cannabis world is a flutter of the cannabis hearing. We're going to talk about that for most of the show. But let's real quick just check out briefly what Mr. Perlmutter had to say at the beginning of the hearing. Get to it. Come in.
In summary, Mr. Chairman, if someone wants to oppose the legalization of marijuana, that's their business. But the American voters have spoken and continue to speak, and the fact is you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Prohibition is over. Our bill is focused solely on taking cash off the streets and making our communities safer. And only Congress can take these steps to provide this certainty for businesses and financial institutions across the country. And with that, I yield back.
And as I say, we will get into the lots more testimony from that hearing in the afterburn, but that was Representative Perlmutter, who has been working on this for 20 years and this particular bill for 6 years, trying to get a hearing on this. And the genie is out of the bottle, and there's no going back. Prohibition is over. The new prohibition, however, is just beginning.
Just beginning, yes. The tyranny of Prohibition 2.0.
The tyranny of Prohibition 2.0. And to that note, our next big story that we will be talking about in this hour is a pretty phenomenal come to Jesus moment, if you will, come to cannabis moment by a Tennessee lawmaker who is now introduced another medical, or is co-sponsoring part of a coalition of lawmakers in Tennessee that are introducing medical marijuana bills this year. And we're going to be hearing from Senator Janice Boland with regards to what her bill is and how she learned her change of mind, how her change of mind came to be with cannabis. But here's a quick little taste as to what Senator Boland had to say.
And that's why, I guess, because I know what Big Pharma did to us, because I know what OxyContin is doing to people every day, and the babies that are being born, and the lives that are being lost, and the overdoses that are taking place, 1,776 last year. Now, we're still pushing it out the door. You can go to any pharmacy, they're filling prescriptions. Now, where is the moral clarity and the intellectual honesty? I go back to that. And if you say this is okay, but you can't have a plant, the oils from that plant that can be distilled and fractionalized and put together in a gel cap, if you can't have that, but you can have this, there's something drastically wrong.
Well, we certainly agree there, and we agree with a number of things that Senator Boland has to say, and we're going to get into those a little bit into the afterburn. We're going to play a couple of more videos here in the first hour as well, but you're going to get to see her a lot more of how she came to cannabis. Senator Janice Boland of Tennessee. Lots of action in Tennessee. We've talked about Tennessee on the show before. That's where we've got our favorite term for cannabis, the medical agricultural product. The problem with this bill, and we're going to get into it, no home grows, and there's a list. And none of us on this show are fans of no home grow and lists. So we're going to talk about that a little bit.
But because she says that moral clarity and intellectual honesty thing, I think we can get her on the home grow. I think we can get her to move on that.
I think we have another number of angles to get the list and the homegrown option. The list gone and the homegrown option added in Tennessee. And we're going to talk about doing that and helping the good folks of that state. Apparently there's a battle in the South as to which state is going to legalize with THC medical cannabis. Who's going to be first?
Who's going to be first?
Because
we're all excited.
There is a lot of stuff going on in the states. A couple of things. Missouri lawmakers are approving a marijuana expungement bill for medical cannabis patients. A little narrow, but that's okay. We'll take it. Meanwhile, in New York City, council members file a dozen marijuana proposals in one day, and they just the gamut of proposals. What are they talking about?
Oh, it's all the good things. There's some expungement things. There's home grow things.
You have a very dramatic shadow going across your face.
Oh, I do? Maybe I should
it's coming from this.
Close the window. Excuse me. Sorry. Let's take that again,
shall we? You look like Catwoman. You look like it was very dramatic. You look like a gay. That's much better.
Okay, good. The New York City Council has a bunch of propositions that they want to propose this week, a dozen of them. There was an expungement thing, and there's a bunch of home grow things, and a bunch of equity things. So they're doing all the good things, and that's good. So
well,
they're on that.
They're making moves in advance of the legalization, which there's a couple of videos in the afterburn about that. Of course, New York now moving towards full legalization, as it has been done in Massachusetts and Michigan, and with the East Coast trying to keep Vermont just passed this week. Retail cannabis now, they're into it. Michigan, speaking of Michigan, got its first got its first lounge. Chela, is it open? It's open, right?
Yeah, it's open.
Michigan's first cannabis lounge.
Yeah, it's in the neighborhood of Daily Dope Show.
Oh,
I would love it if you would go check them out. So this rec lounge is where cannabis consumers can bring their own cannabis to this space where they can play ping pong or pool or hang out together and chat. They have a Facebook page if you want to bring that up. No, that's fine. You don't have to. Sorry.
I can't. No,
No
I can't.
problem.
It's too late to go looking for that. Right
Yeah,
there.
it's all good. Don't worry about it. So they have a Facebook page you guys can go see if you want. I think that it could use some love from the community, and it's only been open 2 months. They're going to be doing some open mics and a bunch of cool stuff. They have a few videos up, and yeah, it's exciting. I'm glad that and it's no alcohol, of course, and it's licensed as an entertainment venue. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. I would go check it out if I was anywhere near there. So
cool.
Yeah.
And well, and we're going to have and Flint still has dirty water among
yes.
other cities. It's true.
Right.
Good point. Excellent
Los
point.
Angeles also has dirty water, not as well publicized as Flint's huge, enormous debacle that happened from greed. Let's not discount.
Well, it all happened
why.
from greed and very rapidly, and it was a big, they've been,
And it was a big deal.
Continue to poison people in Koreatown here in Los Angeles
Right.
and other
And
areas.
yeah, all over California and actually all over the U.S.
Yeah.
There's a huge problem
Huge
with
water.
our water supply.
No, we hear you. We hear you. But yes, we do have cannabis lounges. It's true. And we're about to have a bunch of them in West Hollywood.
Yeah, we don't have any in LA.
It would be nice to see some of those Michigan tax dollars going towards getting some clean water for Flint. But we'll see. We'll get Daily Dope on that because I know he has the pulse. Pulse of Flint and the water, as well as the cannabis legalization and medical, because there's stuff going on in medical this week as well, as far as reduction of fees, which is good news. So we'll see that in the afterburn as well. So back to the headlines in DC 420 LA at Cannabis Chronicle over at DC420LA.com. You also caught it here at the State of the Union. California governor, state of the state, he's decided to not fall for Trump's manufactured crisis and to create one of his own.
Because if you can't beat him,
it's very executive power in 2019 to manufacture crises so that you can politically get points and move your troops around.
Yeah.
So let's
inflame your base.
Let's take a listen as to what the in 1 week he's only been governor how long? And in this last week he did not fail to disappoint us twice with regards to cannabis. And we'll talk about that after we hear what he had to say in his State of the State.
Another third will boost the National Guard statewide counter-drug task force by redeploying up north to go after all these illegal cannabis farms, many of which are run by the cartels that are devastating our pristine forests and increasingly themselves becoming fire hazards.
And applause for that. He had to throw the fire on there to get applause. Because, are there illegal grows in the forests? Yes.
Yeah.
Are they down nationwide? Confiscations, busts, down? Down. There is no crisis. It's manufactured, it's bullshit, and it's purely political. And then he comes out for the number one anti-pot, pro-pot DNC establishment Democrat choice. Why do we have a primary? I'm sorry. Why do the Democrats have a primary?
What are you doing? We're digressing.
I'm digressing.
Please go back to cannabis.
Every San Francisco, Northern California politician has jumped behind Kamala Chameleon.
I may have to go on a hiatus. You did have a really great twist.
Friend of pot. I did have a really great tweet with regards to that.
It was really good.
But she's no friend of pot.
No.
Well, no, wait, she is now a friend of pot. It brings joy. I agree with her there. It brings great joy.
We can agree that it brings great joy.
The pot, what are they calling it? Reefergate? Are they calling it Reefergate? Is that what they're calling it? They're calling it something.
Know.
But with her and the problem with the music and the thing.
I don't listen to
AP
these.
actually breaks that down very well, and we have a video in the afterburn about that. But that's another made up. That's one thing I do agree with. That she wasn't. Yes, she was pandering, but she didn't say what she said. They say she said when she said it. You know what I mean?
Oh God, Dave!
You'll
made
see what
that
I mean.
just as clear as mud.
You'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean when you see it. But yeah, two disappointing things immediately. Gavin Newsom making up a manufactured crisis in California to get political points, and then the Kamala thing. So there you go. Let's hope he signs the compassionate cannabis bill that's going to pass in the State House, and he doesn't pull any BS there. I'm sure he will be on it because he'll need more political points there because they're all on board the Cannabis 2020 train.
Compassionate is really important, and hopefully, I'd like it if he fast-tracked the nonprofit rules.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That would make up for some things, in my opinion. They need to make access to licensing easier, not harder. They need to help keep people get into the legal market, not make it harder and more prohibitive. And that's what needs to change, and somehow we need to get that across. Indeed.
Some of the other stories that came across late in the week. This from the Daily Press, a local newspaper here in the Antelope Valley out of Victorville. The FDA is at it all across the country, guys. CBD is being pulled off the shelves in hemp stores, in drug stores, in health food stores. Good stuff, too. Not just that crappy stuff out there that you get in the liquor stores and the gas stations.
Even in California.
Even in California. We've got, this is, Charlotte's Web stuff being taken off, pure hemp stuff being taken off, ordered off the shelves in some local jurisdictions being, and FDA being used as an argument, because of their recent clarification that you can't put CBD in any food. We're seeing New York do that, is going after their restaurants. We're seeing that in local jurisdictions all over the place where for some reason they really think that CBD in food is a major public health crisis. Once again, there's no clean water in Flint. But if you put it in the water, maybe here's what should happen. Maybe they should put CBD in the water in Flint. Then the FDA would come in and fix it.
Right.
If somebody puts CBD in the Flint water system, they'll say, oh my God, we have to change the whole system because there's CBD in it. Because this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Crazy. All across the country, hemp gets legalized and the FDA and local jurisdictions go on a frickin' rampage, rolling up CBD shops, all from California to Massachusetts to the prohibitionist states in the South and everywhere else.
I don't understand how that works with the Farm Bill passing and hemp being everything and CBD being legal.
Well, technically the Farm Bill and taking it off, yes, it's rescheduled it, but it's left it in the hands of the FDA. It's taken it off the CSA. It's no longer under the control of the DEA. It is now under the control of the FDA, and local jurisdictions and health departments all across the country are saying no to the cannabidol. them earls you get out of the plants.
Yes, but the senator in Tennessee is all for it.
I know. This is amazing.
But not for home grow. Makes no sense.
We're going to get into that right. And then
contrast.
Another couple quick headlines that just came across last second. And actually, I have a little video to play with this. This is out of the UK, guys. Now we know that speaking of cannabidiol and FDA approval, Epidiolex, however you want to pronounce it, it's $32,000 a year. But it has been approved by the FDA, being a CBD plant-based drug. Well, that same company, of course, has SATIVA, which is a 1-to-1 drug. And it is now officially in a trial in the UK. Let's hear who is this doctor?
He's a scientist at the place where they're doing the thing.
Oh, he's a scientist at the research at ARUK. All right, so let's see what he has to say. Oh, Alzheimer's Research UK.
Yeah.
Today, Alzheimer's Research UK is launching a clinical trial on a cannabis-based drug to see whether it can ease the symptoms of agitation in people living with Alzheimer's disease. The plan is, in a small study in King's College in London, to test whether we can give this drug as a mouth spray and then see whether it eases those symptoms. Alzheimer's Research UK remains committed to our mission of finding a life-changing treatment and actually slowing these diseases down, stopping them. But it's also really important that we develop medicines to treat the symptoms of the disease as well.
Alzheimer's Research UK at ARUK Scientist. You should probably follow them. I think you do, Chela, over at Al's Notes, right? Thank you, Al's Notes, for sharing that tweet.
You're welcome.
Coach Chela.
You're welcome.
Keeping us up to date on all the current Alzheimer's and cannabis research because what?
Cannabis helps dementia.
Cannabis helps dementia, that's right. Never forget it. Make sure you scream it from the... As a matter of fact, we're going to scream it. Whatever we get into politically this year, it's going to include that. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
That's the only thing I'm doing.
So great news coming out of the UK. Trial, that's GW Pharmaceuticals, guys. That it will be coming to the United States. SATIVA. Watch for that trial going through the FDA. Also, breaking news, thanks to Marijuana Moment, always on top of it over there, Kyle, Tom, and the gang. Wisconsin governor puts marijuana decriminalization and medical cannabis in the budget. That's right, folks. Wisconsin, Tony Evers to propose pot decriminalization, medical use for cancer, PTSD, and chronic pain. He said that if a recreational bill crosses his desk, he would sign it. This is Wisconsin. So good news there. Wisconsin, of course, did their survey in the last election. They did their non-binding local survey around, and everybody was very much for the cannabis. So good news there. Late in the week, you can get all of this news, including that law that High Times picked up this story. Georgia lawmakers introduced bill to allow growth, sale of medical marijuana. See, we can make this happen in Tennessee too. And that's what we're going to talk about now is the Tennessee lawmaker that is making moves in. There's a number of bills that are been introduced in Tennessee over the last couple of years with regards to medical cannabis. I need a little water there. Rambling on. Blue Dream kicking in. So we've got some bills happening in Tennessee that have never really gone anywhere because it's Tennessee. The Bible. It's the Bible Belt. Because we have one connection to the Bible Belt or to Tennessee in our little circle, and we picked up on that at the Emerald Cup. So let's listen to Fisher and his comments about what's going on in Tennessee because they have some CBD out there too, and I think he has something to say about it. Let me see if I can get to it. I had it lined up and then I didn't. So here we go.
The CBD has opened the door. You see what I'm saying? It has opened the door in the Bible Belt on the East Coast.
Yes.
Because every old folk that we know has got a bottle of that damn CBD oil in their pocket. About 2 drops on their tongue. Of course, no THC in it, you know. But they don't call it dope anymore. They call it medicine now.
Yes,
now, how damn ironic is that?
Right. We're not getting stoned. We're getting relief.
Correct.
Right. Relief.
Yes.
Right? Amen.
Amen. Amen. That's Fisher.
Hallelujah.
Gloria.
Yep.
From
Fisher
Tennessee.
and Gloria, the Bible Belt.
And that's right. They're from Tennessee. We met them at the Emerald Cup. He's been smoking for 49 years. Old school.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows everybody's got a little CBD in their pocket.
Yep.
And apparently the the political folks are definitely paying attention to that.
Yep.
So let's listen to a couple of videos from Senator Janice Boland, who has introduced a new bill in the Senate, and it's now going to try to be combined with other bills to get through the committees. Well, first
it has to get into committee and get through the committee, and then from the committee onto the full chamber.
Exactly.
And she's suggesting that everybody write to the governor and the all the top brass and all the people in the committees to hear this bill and to move it forward because it's time.
because that's how it works in Tennessee. It comes out of committee first.
It's not just Tennessee.
So,
but also,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Oh, what I find really remarkable about this lawmaker is how candid she is about how she went from being completely anti-cannabis, marijuana, to championing a bill. Mind you, one that includes tyranny with no home grow and lists. But if you listen to her, you'll see. I think we can move her.
Well, we're going to take a look at just a couple of short videos in this hour, a real couple of clips, and then we're going to play a good portion of her conversation with phone calls, mostly her conversation, an hour long with a local news program, of how, because it just blows, her conversion to cannabis is really mind-blowing, and that really it proves to me that we can get through to a lot of people with the right talking points and with the right facts and the right information. You can get through to just about anybody. And here's a great example of that. Here's an exchange about how we don't really need any more research because it's settled science thanks to all the work that's being done outside of the United States. So let's just take a listen to this clip. This is Senator Bolin, Janice Boland of Tennessee, Republican of Tennessee.
Very, very conservative.
Rural Republican senator from Tennessee.
In the states like Arizona, the medical marijuana states, not just the states with recreational legalization, but the medical, they've really got this down botanically to a science.
It is not a mystery. You don't need to research and see what's going to happen. As you said earlier, we can't research it. It's illegal to research it in America now. And so you look at what has taken place, and my touchstone is Israel. I trust Israel right now more than I trust the FDA. That might not be politically correct to say, but I do. And when you go into these stores, there's strains. When they're grown, they're growing clones of a strain so that you keep that exact genetic profile. They know how much you need of the THC, the ratio of THC to CBD. It's settled science. It's working. People are getting relief. And it's just unconscionable to me that we're making people go out and buy it. Let's see, the bus station is how far from here? You could buy anything you want over there, I'm sure, all day long. But that is not controlled, and you're really not sure if you're getting way too much THC and you're getting pesticides, herbicides. Who knows what's in that? This would be very well controlled and grown, and it will be taxed, and it will create a revenue stream. The more important part is the medical relief.
Betty.
Taxed at 9%, I believe, Chela, is what you read.
Yes, I did read that.
It's a bill that would fast track, essentially, compared to other states, their program starting, because the senator has said that she's looked at other states, and we want to make sure that we don't get bogged down like other states did. They're going to have 12 licenses rural, 12 licenses urban, 9% sales tax, and a list of, pretty comprehensive list, but it's a list nonetheless, and which is really silly when you listen to her, when you hear more of what she has to say in the afterburn, when you play more of the videos, you're just going to go, how can she even agree with a list? And that's going to be an easy thing to get, I think, have her to change her mind. And we're hoping that, when we do call these committees and get a hold of Senator Bolin and other folks that are negotiating with their bills, in the state of Tennessee, that they can get this home grow back in, allow home grow, because she's very anti big pharma, or in what she calls it. She calls it
pharmaceuticals.
She calls it something, not big pharma. She calls it something else.
We'll hear it again.
Large pharma, or we'll hear it again. But she's not a big fan of big pharma, as you heard in the beginning. She knows what they've been doing with oxycodone, and she was very instrumental in getting the laws changed so that people would maybe stop dying as much in Tennessee, because of the requirements that the pharmaceutical companies were pushing, making doctors forcing doctors to put patients on oxycodone.
A law.
I'll make it a law.
God,
right.
they had a law
Codified.
that she repealed.
Yeah, a law that said if they have so much pain, prescribe them
must
oxycodone. You must
described
when you leave the office. So you wonder what's going on. So let's listen to another clip. This is Senator Bolin again. We're going to hear more of her in the afterburn, but these clips really kind of stand out. And she trusts Israel more than the FDA when it comes to medical cannabis. I am on board with that premise. It's been done 50 years, legal for 20 in Israel. They've done the science. It's there. I think they might have lists as well.
They have serious lists in Israel, and it's no good.
If that's the model,
But Israel, come on. Sorry.
And she quotes Meshalom a lot because
she does.
And Meshalom is working with GW Pharmaceuticals now.
He is.
Which might be why this trial is moving forward.
Maybe.
Which is nice to hear.
Tikkun Olam is conducting a study, and it's hopefully concluding first quarter of this year. I think it will have been at least 6 months, this study. Maybe longer. The study that is coming up in England, it's for 1 month.
Oh.
4 weeks with this 1-to-1 spray. I'm super excited about it because I know they're going to do awesome. And then they're going to make it a wider study. So I'm super stoked that England
They'll get
is
results
in
a month.
Yeah, totally. That England is going to show, hey, it works. Because I follow a lot of people living with dementia who are in England. England has a great social fabric program that supports people with dementia and their families and caregivers that we are sorely lacking, but I think California is going to develop.
We're hoping so. Thanks, JCC 707. You rock as well. Love your buds.
Far out.
And we can't wait to pick your one. You're one of the one we pick. The brain we pick when we start growing. Once the rain stops really raining and we can get our dirt factory going and find some seeds, and it's a long process.
It's been raining.
There's a lot. There's still a lot going on.
There's
guys.
So much wonderful stuff happening.
It's amazing.
It's great.
It's amazing.
It's a big, wonderful time.
It's amazing time for Reefer Revolution Live. This is Reefer Revolution Live. We're talking about Tennessee and Senator Janice Boland, who is come to cannabis. It took 1 year, less than a year of research for Senator Boland to figure out that cannabis actually can not only solve Tennessee's opioid crisis, but can be beneficial in so many ways. And guess how? Full plant.
Yes.
Full plant. Full spectrum. The plant. Let's hear a little bit more from the senator in this hour, as we're really excited by not only the hearing this week, but this movement on a state level in Tennessee. So let's hear another clip from Senator Boland and her take on how veterans who are getting relief in some states come back to a state where there is no relief.
We've got to do better than to have our veterans who are stationed in other states come back and say, well, they were giving me medical cannabis in this other state, and now they only want to give me the opioids, and I don't want opioids. We're condemning them to a terrible fate. When you look at those 33 other states, a lot of them, some of them have been doing this for a number of years, and is it fair to say the sky is not falling? Some of them have been doing it 20 years, and in 20 years, not one state has ever canceled their program. Right. And so if there was something really happening, and law enforcement, I think in Colorado, when they started the medical cannabis, said it was a non-event. Yeah. And what is happening, though, the people are finding out online, and because when you have such pain and when you have certain conditions, you're desperate. Yeah. And you know what the pharmaceutical products are doing to you, and you know it's not good for you. Marty, when he called, you know, he's correct. If he's on marijuana, he might get nauseous, maybe, if he takes too much, or a headache, or dizzy, or sleepy, but he won't get dead.
He won't get dead.
Won't get dead.
Yeah, true story. And this Senator Bolin, is up on her facts with regards to the research and the medicinal value. I find it's so hilarious that on one level, there's this real push that says, oh, medical cannabis is going away. In the Chronicle this week, Civilized has an article about is recreational cannabis the death knell for medical cannabis? And I just don't see how that's possible when with these pushes with these states trying to get medical, it's Perlmutter. When we get into some video, and we're going to get into that now because we're going to watch. Don't worry, we're going to hear more from Senator Bolin in the afterburn. We're going to listen to about 20 minutes of what, maybe about 10 minutes of what she has to say in our Southern Bloc. But and it's pretty mind blowing and all perfectly on point. She knows her shit. She really does.
Except for the no home grow. She doesn't. I don't get the contrast between this woman talking on the channel versus the article that I read about what the bill actually says is disturbing. But it also lets me know that I can lobby her to move into my direction. It hasn't even gotten into committee, so we have, some way to go with this. We can definitely lobby her about fixing that.
There's definitely a crack in the and chink in the armor, a crack in the. We need to find a cannabis reference, cannabis pun for that. I haven't yet to come up with one, but. No, yeah, that is triumph for tyranny. That's what I said in my tweet. Here we have a very conservative Bible Belt, rural state senator, that is converted. You'll see in the videos that she is converted and is a firm believer in the medicinal properties of cannabis and how it can solve their opioid crisis, using full plant, with all the different oils,
put it in a gel cap.
Put it in a gel cap. And you need the THC. She believes you need the THC for certain ailments.
Yep.
So she knows that, whereas other states, they're trying to limit that. Georgia has low THC laws. Federally. There you go. That's what the federal cannabis lawsuit's about, right? THC levels and traveling, and so you'd think that this freedom-loving conservative Tennessee senator might be more on board the freedom argument, liberty, with regards to being able to grow your own. She is not a fan of big pharma, does not like pharmaceutical. They try to kill the people of her state, and she stopped them. And no home grows is a big pharma talking point, and a push to make sure that doesn't happen in states, because if you can grow your own medicine, how are you going to make money on it? So it's corporate cannabis. It's big pharma that wants to stop home grows. But listen, as we'll see in the Varney and Company video today in the National Bloc, when you try to tax something 40%, even tomatoes are going to be sold on the black market. So if you were, this is the problem with the laws that are going through now. Corporate cannabis getting involved and pushing the laws that are going through medically speaking. We need to make sure home grows are allowed. Liberté. We need to make sure that there are no lists. This is between doctors and patients. Why should you exclude people? Why should you exclude people from this plant that is so beneficial and you'll see has never killed anybody? She knows has never killed anybody. She quotes the DEA. She knows her facts. Never killed anybody. It's not addictive. She says that. Your mind's going to be blown when you hear some of the things she says. But that's going to be in the afterburn. So stay tuned. This is DC 420. Oh, no, it's not. It's Reefer Revolution Live, DC 420 LA on YouTube. On Sundays, 420 Pacific. Subscribe, get notifications. You can also watch us on Periscope, Twitch, DLive, and WeTV, the Cannabis Media Network. Wherever you're watching us, thank you. Do what you do. Share. Tell everybody about this broadcast. We do this every Sunday. And whenever special things come up, like that hearing that just occurred up there on Capitol Hill. Pretty exciting, actually, that we had the very first and specifically focused cannabis hearing on Capitol Hill. This is part of the Cannabis 2020 buzz. When 82% of the people in Tennessee want cannabis, medical cannabis, when over 2/3 of the country want to see recreational cannabis, when 97% of the population of the country is covered by some form of cannabis law, whether it be low CBD or CBD only or all the way up to full recreational. There's only 3 states that have no laws covering cannabis. So you're talking about what Perlmutter calls the genie being let out of the bong. I'm sorry, genie being let out of the bottle. The bottle is what he said. But here is, let's listen to Perlmutter and his opening statement. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about that. And then we'll get into the afterburn. But I want to talk a little bit about the bill that they're trying to pass, because essentially the first one they're going to get through has to do with the money. Has to do with the money. They're making it a safety issue on the Democratic side with regards to crime, as the Democrats love to do, fear. And ironically, the Republicans are making it about, well, this isn't our Kuleana. We need to, it needs to be taken off the Controlled Substances Act before we can do anything about it. Oh, and by the way, why is this business getting special treatment? That was really the Republican argument. And they, of course, had Sam on the panel. We know what their argument is. Gateway, psychosis, all that stuff. But let's hear what Perlmutter had to say. He's been trying to do this for 20 years. This hearing really was a giveaway to Perlmutter, because he has been working on this for so long and has literally gotten nowhere.
But they didn't have to give it away. They didn't have to have this hearing. It's amazing that the hearing happened. We should celebrate that the hearing happened.
I'm celebrating. Watch, I'm going to spark up a joint.
Spark up a joint.
Instead of this bowl.
Yeah, spark up a joint. We're celebrating. The hearing happened. It's great. We all agree cannabis needs to be off the schedule.
All right, so let's hear what Perlmutter has to say, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the hearing. What do you guys think? Did you watch the hearing?
Yeah, did you watch the hearing?
We're going to watch more from it in the afterburn, but I just want to hear what Perlmutter has to say. Here's his open.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Luke DeMeyer, Committee. Today's hearing is a big deal. It's a big deal for thousands of employees and businesses across this country who've been put at risk because they are forced to deal in piles of cash while Congress stuck its head in the sand for the last 20 years. 47 states, plus the District of Columbia, have spoken and legalized some form of recreational or medical marijuana, including cannabidiol. 318.2 million people live in these 47 states. That's 97.7% of the population, including every state represented by every member of this Financial Services Committee. Colorado and Washington voters were among the first states to legalize medical and recreational marijuana. And I want to thank Representative Heck for his partnership through the years on this. And I also want to thank my friends Steve Stivers and Warren Davidson for their support and co-sponsorship of the Safe Banking Act. Our federal laws were designed to prevent illicit activity and help law enforcement do their jobs. The fact is, the people, the voters in states and localities all across the country, are legalizing some level of marijuana use. And we need these marijuana-related businesses and employees to have access to our banking system. It will improve transparency and accountability and help law enforcement root out illegal transactions to prevent tax evasion, money laundering, and other white-collar crime. But most importantly, though, it will help reduce the risk of violent crime in our communities. These businesses and their employees become targets for crime, robbery, assault, and more by dealing in all cash. Mr. Heck mentioned Travis Mason, a young security guard and former Marine who was killed in a robbery in Aurora, Colorado. Another recent robbery in Denver saw the assailant put a gun into the employee's mouth and walk out with over $20,000 in cash. We've received dozens of other stories from marijuana businesses all across the country who have faced similar crimes and had their bank accounts closed and have had to deal in cash only. These stories are why we've drafted the Safe Banking Act. This bill would create a safe harbor for financial institutions and their employees who choose to do business with a marijuana company. It would protect ancillary businesses like real estate owners, accountants, vendors, and contractors by clarifying that the proceeds from legitimate cannabis businesses are not unlawful under money laundering laws or any other banking law. And it remains the flexibility of the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network by requiring continued filing of suspicious activity reports. Our bill helps put these transactions into the system, which helps law enforcement do their job to catch the real bad guys. In summary, Mr. Chairman, if someone wants to oppose the legalization of marijuana, that's their business. But the American voters have spoken and continue to speak, and the fact is you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Prohibition is over. Our bill is focused solely on taking cash off the streets and making our communities safer. And only Congress can take these steps to provide this certainty for businesses and financial institutions across the country. And with that, I yield back.
Prohibition is over, except it's not. It's just going to be, it's moving from one agency to another is what it's doing. And that's what's going to happen because they're not freeing it like tomatoes. It's going to be regulated. It's going to be, it's going to be, still piecemeal throughout the states until it's descheduled. And when they deschedule it, the stuff they're talking about is moving it over to tax and regulate like alcohol under the Treasury Department and the ATF, who also have guns. And the FDA is right now with legal hemp in this country, legal cannabidiol, however you want to say it, CBD, is allegedly legal, is being taken off the shelves throughout the country in health food stores. So to say prohibition is over is a bit overstated. What we have is tax and regulate schemes and floundering medical marijuana programs that get started and then get crushed by the green rush of recreational cannabis. Even though when you recreate, you medicate. And it is medicinal because it changes you. Makes you feel better.
If cannabis gives you joy. If cannabis had been allowed for the last 70 years, we would be a completely different society.
70, you say?
Yeah, 70, I say, because they started restricting it in the 30s.
Right. And then they really put the hammer down in the 70s. When nobody wanted to fight.
Yeah. So
they wanted to play music and hang out.
Plants make you think about plants. So also at the Emerald Cup, we were chatting with some folks, and we will drop that video soon. Madison from Civilized was saying that, and she's a young lady. Her mom has always been a cannabis advocate and user, and Madison was saying that as a young person, when you start thinking about where your cannabis plants are coming from and how that's grown and that you want it to be organic and sustainably farmed and all that, then it makes you start thinking about the other things that you put into your body and the other plants and food and such that you put inside. So expanding your mind through cannabis and cannabis medicine allows you to expand your mind in other ways as well once you get past the Doritos phase. I'm just saying. The chalupa.
Yeah. True. It's true. It makes you think about it, just not through the elevation of the THC receptors, the CBD, CB1 receptor, and the THC, but also that it does. The entourage effect is not only in the body, it's in the mind as well, and the way your way of thinking, and it really opens your mind. That's why it was made illegal.
Yep.
it was why it was made illegal. That and the fact that It's true. It was used medicinally throughout the country early on until they figured out how to, as you'll see, Senator Bolin says, they couldn't really figure out how to tax it properly. And then, of course, it made people not want to fight later on. So it had to be stopped. So prohibition is it's merely converting into the tax and regulate form of new prohibition. You're seeing this in Canada, exactly what's going on. You're having the law enforcement, politicians, and corporate heads all getting into a corporate cannabis that is being basically a monopoly of government owned and run and sold. And you're seeing this sort of model pop up in a couple of options. I'm hearing locally in some states talking about using the state to control the cannabis. We said that Gavin Newsom disappointed us a couple of times over cannabis this week. Not only is he making up fake stories about the crisis of illegal cannabis grows in California, but that he's supporting Kamala Harris, who wanted two companies, two entities to grow all the cannabis in California.
Yeah, for California. Insane. No.
Brings a lot of joy.
I'm never voting for that person. I'm not doing it, but that's all we're going to say.
So, just no. Now she's all for it, pandering right and left.
Yeah.
And if she's not lying, she's a freaking hypocrite for locking people up.
That's right. Cannabis Sativa is saying, happening in Massachusetts, another former cop getting a license in Boston.
Happening all over.
There was a big convention, a big cannabis conference in Boston this week where all the business people were. Mm-hmm. It was very exciting. Forbes had a big article that you have in the Chronicle saying that the emergence of all these cannabis conferences is showing that, damn Skippy, cannabis is mainstream.
Oh yeah, when you have a racket.
In case you guys didn't know.
When you have the conference racket popping up all over the country, and just massive amounts, huge, and the investment rackets. There's a bunch of investment racket companies that are popping up. So it's and listen, we've talked about the CBD racket here. There's the FDA has been on companies right and left about their level of CBD in their products. That's mostly what they are concerned about, or have been for the most part, before they started this latest crackdown, this increase crackdown now that it's legalized. But there are companies that make stuff that doesn't have CBD in it, that has other stuff in it, that's crap, that is being relabeled, that's white labeled. As Alexis tweeted this week, Haley's Hope, know your grower, know your farmer, know where you're getting your stuff from, do your research. Don't pick up your CBD at the gas station. How about start there?
Yeah.
Don't pick up your CBD gummies when you're gassing up. Go somewhere, do a little research, find a company that grows good, makes good CBD product that'll ship to your state. Ask around, because there's crap out there. We've said it all from the very beginning. It's a huge deal, and there's a huge loophole that that's been exploiting since the 2014 Farm Bill. That's what all these people are selling CBD under. And now with the hemp bill being passed, but now the FDA has got new marching orders. It says we're in control of it. You can't put it in food, and they're telling all the local health departments it doesn't belong in food. So now they're rolling up all of these non-marijuana businesses. They're taking stuff off their shelves. The lady in that article said here in Apple Valley, her two stores, 2/3 of every third person that buys something in her shop is asking for CBD in her shop, in her health food store. Charlotte's Web, hand creams, that's got that kind of stuff. So they're finding all of these local ordinances to get around, using FDA paper letters saying, look what the FDA says, this isn't supposed to be in there. What's got it? It's out of here. Here's your fine. Thank you very much. Prohibition 2.0, fake legalization. We want to be able to grow it like tomatoes, sell it at our farmer's market, because it's still never going to kill anybody. Ever.
Jilly Love sounds like Jilly Love is saying that Tulsi just said she would legalize federally, not just reschedule. Did she say tomatoes? Julie Love, because then I'll work for her, and I would register as a Democrat to vote for her. Well, I can vote for her anyway.
I know she's not a fan of Big Pharma and wants to put those guys in jail, but that's a very popular topic.
I mean, listen,
right
if
now.
I had
Purdue
to vote today, I'd vote for Tulsi Gabbard. I'm not going to digress. I'm so sorry. I said that.
But didn't you hear Bernie's going to announce this week?
I don't care. But today, if I'm voting today, I'm talking about Tulsi Gabbard.
You guys shut the fuck up. It's like
God.
H.A. Goodman with she's going to get indicted.
She's going to get indicted.
Clinton's going to be indicted this week.
Or the other people saying, he's going to get indicted this week.
He's going to get indicted. He's going to be
They all think everybody's getting indicted this week. How about we just live in the now what's happening?
That's right.
What's
Create your
actually
rockets.
happening.
Create your rockets.
Let's get cannabis off the Schedule 1 on this. We can all agree.
Lighten up, have fun, more joy.
Yes.
Let's find the things we can all agree on.
We all agree on all of those
politicians.
things.
Very
Lighten
good.
up, have fun, more joy.
Listen, we're lightening up. We're having fun in the chat as usual. It's jumping. The chat is going off. Thanks, everybody.
She was asked today. She's done 4 rallies.
Really? Cool. Great. Excellent. I can't wait to find that. We'll get that
so
quote.
Far,
play it on
my
the show.
runner.
Play it on the show next week. I gotta say, she's the only one that seems to want to not kill people.
Julie Love,
I
think she's up north in Northern California. Coach, you need at least 30,000 to go legal. Yeah, that's fucked up, man.
Yeah. Here in California? Where?
Yeah, here in California.
Oh, you need a lot more than that.
Well, she's saying, I think
that's
just the first start.
That's your first. That's your first meeting with your lawyer.
First pass.
That might be just basic permitting and stuff for the lowest level thing. But you need lawyers, lobbyists, and there's a video. We have a story in the afterburn, which will be coming up very soon. We are talking about.
Oh yes.
What's that?
It's 5:21.
It is. It's 5:21. That's right. We are done with our first hour, everybody. This is Reefer Revolution live. Make sure you subscribe, get notifications for when we do go live. We covered that committee hearing this week live with wonderful commentary from my lovely co-host, Coach Chela.
Thank you.
Who would technically masterfully started the stream, welcomed you all to it, and then I was able to join in later when I got back from my Big Pharma audition. Which is hilarious. Listen, I will gladly take their money and use it to spread the anti-Big Pharma message.
That's right.
And that cannabis helps dementia and every damn thing else.
That's
RBU 83145. Can I get high on cannabis and not suffer vertigo? I don't know.
You have to try it and let us know.
Yeah, vertigo I think has more to do with other things than. I don't know. Who knows? I've never had vertigo as a side effect of cannabis, but there are. Go start low and go slow. And edible cannabis is a different animal, people. Do not forget, edible cannabis is different than smokable cannabis. You're intoxicated from smoking cannabis at your highest point within 9 minutes of consumption. You take it into your lungs. That's your highest you're ever going to be, and you're going to go down from there. If you eat cannabis, depending on your system, how much you've eaten, how much fat you have in your food, how empty your stomach is, how much water you drink, how fast your metabolism is, how much you eat, how big you are,
what your genetics are.
It's all, and then it's going to convert into a new creature, a new form of THC that is very hallucinogenic in high doses.
Yeah.
Can be hallucinogenic in high doses.
Yeah.
So, it's a medicine. It is a medicine.
Yeah.
It's not to be, in the respect, it'll never kill anybody. It's not toxic. You're not going to die from it.
No.
You might think you are.
Yeah, you may not feel good. Listen, it's really, really important, especially you guys, if you're introducing people who are cannabis naive, who are new to cannabis, do not overdose them. You will turn them off of cannabis so fast.
True story.
It's not cool.
True story.
So always start low and go slow. Make sure you have a balanced thing that you're introducing people with, all that good stuff. Julie Love is in Humboldt, and Holy Cannabis Oil is saying $60,000 to get legal, and Julie Love is clarifying basic permits, just the very basics.
Right, yeah. That's
a lot.
It's dudes. Like to get you in door. It's like start with this and then this. Yeah, Holy Cannabis Oil. He's in the mix. I know a few people that are still in the mix here. It's going to be it's still the wild west out here. If we're going to be for a number of years, there's going to be licenses available. There's going to be consolidation. There's going to be they're already co-ops and organizations trying to protect small farmers. Yeah. Good article this week. I believe it escapes me exactly where it was. There was a good article about how the craft cannabis really does have a shot to make it just like craft beer did in this,
Right.
because people are going to want to pay a little higher price for your appellations. The appellations program in California is moving forward. It's going to be established within a year or so. So we're going to see, you're going to have, you might not be able to call it Gorilla Glue number 4. You're going to have to come up with something, but it's going to be like, Emerald, or this county Mendocino wine is going to be Mendocino cannabis. There's going to be Humboldt cannabis. They'll be categorized into geographic things and profiles as opposed to Thunderfuck, whatever, number 6. Sour Diesel Balls, number 12.
Right.
Or Purple Kush Daddy, 16. But we love our strain names, but they're bullshit.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's going to be it's really exciting. It's exciting to watch this. Now, are people being destroyed? Yes. Absolutely.
And that's terrible.
Generations of families are being wiped out. You pay or you don't play.
Yeah.
If you don't hooey up, you're going to drown. If you don't get your permits, you're going to get shut down. If you do get your permits, you might get shut down.
Yeah.
So it's
a tough time for those who are making flour for us, and we really, really love, respect, and appreciate all of you who do. So I just want you to know every day we have great mad love for the Emerald Triangle and all those growers in the world.
And we're going to visit. We're going to visit many of you as many as we can.
We're going to come through in the summer.
We're going on the road. We're taking the
tell
show
the
on the road. We've got the equipment. We've got the drive. We've got the rockets, the plans, the loose plans, because we like to go with the flow and enjoy the show. But we've got lots of opportunity to come up and talk to people and
show the world that you're not a bunch of scary people murdering people all the time.
And that Gavin Newsom's manufactured frickin' emergency.
Crazy reefer madness.
Is complete reefer madness. The busts are down in California across the country. It's just nonsense. Really? You're going to put National Guard troops up in the Emerald Triangle? Great job.
Insane.
Great job, Gavin. All right, guys, that's our first hour. This is Reefer Revolution Live. Subscribe, get notifications. We are don't go anywhere. Stay in the chat. Going to shut down the stream. Come right back, and we're going to get into the afterburn and take a look at marijuana in the mainstream media from all across the country in all of the markets. We thank you for watching. We'll see you in a minute. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Free the plant, free the people. Pot for peace.